You can't afford not to buy Japanese books. Written by Khatzumoto, posted in May of 2012. Quote, "If you think books are expensive, try ignorance." Quoted from Derek Bach, bastardized by Khatzumoto, smiley face. Next quote. "There are golden houses in books, and there are beautiful girls." Footnote 1. "Heterosexual women are just SOL. The saying came out before Twilight," smiley face. End footnote. In books. Quoted from Understanding Chinese Culture and Learning, Ting Wang. "Trying to get used to an L2 without buying books is like trying to go to college without buying books." Footnote 3. "I like to open strong." End footnote. "You'll buy a big screen TV, but you won't buy books. You'll buy nice clothes, but you won't buy books. You'll buy a beer, but you won't buy books. You'll get nice shampoo, but you won't buy books. You go to the hair salon, but you won't buy books. Full stomach, nice shirt, empty head. Is that what's in this year? You'll buy the books your school forces you to buy, but you won't buy the books that you want. The books you're most likely to read and reread, the books that look cool to you, the books most likely to make you grow. Books, the written transcript of the seminar. Books, the wisdom of the world. Them things that Hitler and Qing Shi Huang Di and every despot before, between, and after them burned and buried people for writing. Those doohickeys that every potentate from Queen Elizabeth version 1.0 to the former CEO of Nike wouldn't let you see. That Africans kidnapped and enslaved in North America had their fingers torn off for even owning. Footnote 4. Slaves were expensive. Slaves cost money. One wouldn't maim a slave unless one hoped to gain, or protect, something of immense value. If actions speak louder than words, then these actions are loudly proclaiming that books and reading, and their inverse, illiteracy and ignorance, are valuable enough to kill and maim and legislate for." End footnote. That the Korean ruling class actively prevented regular folk from enjoying, that the Roman Catholic Church put a blanket death warrant on Martin Luther's head for writing, written using symbols that were once reserved only for shamans, magicians, and sorcerers. Books, the difference between the people of the book, the Jews who made the pop culture you enjoy. Footnote 5. I like to open cans of worms. End footnote. And the people who sit around whining and grousing and making up conspiracy theories about the people of the book. Disproportionate representation, classic harvest time blocking. Where were you at sewing time? Where were you when they were disproportionately grading and enjoying home libraries? What would you think of a doctor who wouldn't buy books about medicine? What would you think of an investor who wouldn't buy books about finance? What would you think of an engineer who wouldn't buy books about engineering? What would you think of an athlete who wouldn't buy books about her sport? A nutritionist who wouldn't buy books about nutrition? You'd think them horribly naive, and you'd think they didn't mean it. You'd think that they weren't real players, and that they certainly couldn't be very good ones. So what about you? Are you a real player? Or are you holding out for waterproof tea bags to go with your bookless literacy? Come on now, don't be ghetto. Buy the books already. What do you suppose your literacy would work on, even if you magically received it? Do you realize that it's a dynamic skill that grows or atrophies based on practice, right? Without books, even if you suddenly became literate, you would instantly start becoming illiterate. Don't pray for rain without digging ditches. Don't pray for literacy without buying books. That's not faith, it's just stupidity. Speaking of faith, would you buy a lottery ticket? Maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. There are 10 types of people and all that. Would you buy a lottery ticket if you were friends with the people who run the lottery and they were always willing and able to throw you a bone? Because when you're here, your family, bada bang. Footnote 6. I'm doing that Tony Soprano arm thing where you make a V in the general direction of your crotch. End footnote. If you had that kind of influence over it, would you buy a stock if you knew, beyond a shadow of a doubt, footnote 7, no shadows allowed, no doubt shadows, end footnote, that it was going to go up? And how much of this stock would it be worth it to buy? How much of this stock would it not be a waste of your money to buy? All things being equal, footnote 8. I know, they're not. Otherwise, how would you explain how handsome I am? End footnote. At what point is a stock that's guaranteed to go up not a good investment? The question is its own answer. Now, what about books? Are books anything like this hypothetical stock of ours? Could anyone make a claim that strong? Probably not, I don't know. But you could at least say this. Books are as close to a stock as you're likely to get on a regular basis, without earning a royal buggering from the Securities and Exchange Commission. The stock is you. You invest in it by buying and reading books, and you're allowed as much insider trading as you want. No one can touch you. Pound for pound, word for word, a typical book is the cheapest and highest quality information you will ever buy. Buy the books already. They'll do you a damn sight more good than beer and jeans. Buy those books, and one of these days the books will buy you jeans. And, if Chinese proverbs are to be believed, hookers and blow and houses covered in bling as well. Them Chinese proverb writers, pandering to the MTV Cribs demographic since 2500 BCE. Smiley face.